1,000
Partner code
times
life.
again.
Word.
And I'll rise up.
I've got to say this. I want you to think about something. Haley Lee said something that pierced my heart. I want you to just mentally think to yourself, how old are you today? And I want you to think about our company, our executives, our owners that are going behind the scenes, working daily, creating this 100-year model for our future. Now, I don't know your age. I know mine. I'm 49 years old, and I think about 100 years. And I think about what if I adopted the mindset that Haley Lee said, that Brent Palmer is going to be a partner co-lifer. That for the rest of my life, I'm going to embrace this company. I'm going to embrace and take these amazing products. I'm going to connect people every single day that is on their hands and knees praying for a better opportunity, health and financially in their life. I'm just going to be a lifer with Partner Co. that connects people and let it take care of itself. And as I build this, there's no exit strategy. Imagine that. There's no, I've got to work for 30 years and retire with a gold watch somewhere. There's none of that. It's I've found a life I can live in a company for the rest of my life. And Haley, you just inspired me today with those words of Partner Co-lifer. That's huge. And in saying that, as we end the first session today, focus right now. Because at 22 years old, just graduating college, he found the network marketing profession. Broke, right out of college, not knowing what he was doing, he got involved. He got involved as a brand partner. And he became one of the #1 income earners of the company as a brand partner. Built a massive legacy, global business, amazing net worth, but then found a passion from the stage of delivering the struggles and the victories of this beautiful profession. And since then, for over 30 years, he's traveled the world, connecting with people in our profession, sharing the victories and how they can be, sharing the struggles and what to expect, and giving a tool belt so that people can leave, giving a toolbox that people can leave and can expand in their business. Check this video out.
You know, people always see the glory, but they don't know the story. They see where you are, but they don't see where you were and what you've gone through, the path that you've gone through. Pick up the phone and make a call. Touch yourself afterwards. Take a deep breath and go, I'm alive. You control the growth and the speed at which your organization goes. It doesn't just happen by itself. You find people, you find winners, you find doers, you find somebody who's active, who's engaged, who's involved, who's sponsoring. No matter where they are in your organization, and you grab a hold of them and you run with them. That is a secret to success in this business. You get to blame you for either your success or your failure. Something is going to have to give in order for you to get. And you must build your business on a foundation of belief. So when somebody says to you, is this network marketing? Your answer is, heck yeah, it is. If it wasn't, I wouldn't touch it. I want to be part of an organization that's all about being exceptional, being professional, going the extra mile, doing things in a way that people go, what is up with this group? There's something about that group based on the way that they function and operate. Success comes to those people who come and get it. Go get the business. Don't wait for it. So I go to my first seminar, and it was a life-changing event for me. This weekend for you can be a life-changing weekend for you if you let it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to make some noise to raise the roof. Get off your on your feet. Let's make some noise. Bring stage, Mr. Todd Falcone!
Hey. Hello. What is up? What's up? How you guys doing? Oh my goodness, what a great morning. You know, it's so funny. I speak for network marketing companies all the time, and most network marketers are pretty enthusiastic, but you guys are screaming. I love it. I love it. I'm just curious, like, how many people in the room have never seen me speak before? Raise your hands. Oh, world famous motivational speaker. What? Oh, so all my jokes are going to be new to you guys. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I feel blessed to be here. Anytime I get in front of an audience of hungry people that want to figure this out, I just want to help. And as Brent mentioned while he was introducing me, I got started in network marketing at the age of 22. I'm going to briefly share that because I don't always share my getting started story, but I was graduating out of the marketing department at Long Beach State years and years ago. This is 36 years ago. And I got a phone call that literally changed the direction of my life. This guy calls me up. His name was Jim. I'm calling you. I'm from Orange County Marketing Group. We're a marketing company. We're looking for people that can train and manage others in the expansion of our company. And we want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, I'm being recruited into a job. This is how it works. I don't even have my diploma yet. I had no idea how the world worked. I was like, oh, they start looking for you. And I remember putting my clip-on tie on, driving down to Irvine, California, going into what I think is a job interview. And I'm met by this woman who's happy and having a good time. I was like, well, this is different from the last interview I went to. I already thought, well, this is a place that I want to work just based on the attitude. And then they brought us in. There was more people coming in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my competition. And I don't, what happens when you get nervous? Your mouth gets all pasty and dry and your palms start to get sweaty. And I'm like, I got to go shake the boss's hand. And I'm like, how do I get the liquid from my mouth to my, I was thinking maybe if I lick my palm, I could get the liquid back in my mouth. And then they brought us into a room with about 50 chairs. And I was like, this is how naive I am. I don't even know what multi-level network marketing is. I had no clue what, the only pyramids that I knew existed in Egypt. I had no idea what this profession was. And I sat in the seat and I watched this business presentation and it made sense to me. Wait, there's this product that we can share with other people. We can make a retail profit and we can build a team and there's no limit to the size of the team that we can build. We can work when we want. We can play when we want. And no boss. And I never liked having a boss. And so I signed up that day. And look, I made a commitment and I did not win right away. It took me a couple of years to figure it out. In fact, my first 2 years, I had incredible training and education, but you know how much financial I had to show for it? Zero. And there were people left and right all around me quitting and I stayed. And even looking back, I think, like, why did I stay? I don't know if I was just so naive, so green, so hungry. If that guy can do it, if she can do it, I'm going to stay here until I figure it out. So I shared that with you because when, you know, people, Natalie Cole has this great quote. Everybody sees the glory, but they don't know the story. It's like they don't know what you went through to get, like overnight success. I'm a 35-year overnight success. You guys are in, look, and I've had a chance to analyze, investigate your company. I speak for different companies. I meet C-level executives. You could not be in a better place. And I'm dead serious. Look, I'm dead serious when I say that. Like, you guys have the best founders, the best C-level executives, and in the end, that's who makes or breaks the company. So know that you're in a good place, but you gotta, like, here's the thing. One great word that I want you to write down is be curious, be inquisitive. Because the thing, when I first got started in network marketing, I wanted to know how to do it. And my mom, God rest her soul, when I got started, she goes, I came home, I was like, oh my gosh, I found this thing. You can recruit people, you build a team, I'm going to be rich. And she's like, oh, you're in a cult. And then the crazy thing, this is how like green I was. Like 3 months into my very first network marketing experience, there was a seminar taking place in San Diego, California. And it was this event, and it was a seminar, but like, because my mom planted, I didn't even know what a seminar was. Because my mom planted the word cult in my head, I thought it was I heard seance. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe my mom is right. And this guy came to me who is a leader that I respected in this office. And he said, are you going to the event? And I didn't want to say no, but I said, no, I'm not, because I couldn't afford it. I literally limited out my college credit card on my very first purchase. And I wanted to go, but I didn't have the money. And he goes, do you want to be a leader in this company? I said, I do. He said, well, you need to be at that event. And he turned and he just walked away from me. He didn't look back and giggle. He just walked away from me. So the message was clear. And I don't remember exactly what I did. I probably sold something in my apartment. I figured out how to get there. I slept in my car for 2 days. And I got to tell you, I come from we can't afford it family. My whole life, we can't afford it. We were never on food stamps. We were never homeless, but there was no wealth in my family, no wealth training in my family whatsoever. Thank God it was in San Diego because it was warm, warmer than this room is right now for sure, right? My goodness, keep you guys awake. So we keep your attention. And I remember going to this event. And how many of you, I'm just curious, how many of you, is any of you in the room, is this your very first event? Anybody? Okay, good, good. That's awesome. That very first event locked me in because I was around a group of fun people that I saw every day, but I didn't realize how big it was. And I remember walking into this hotel and there was a line like there was today to get into the room. And I was like, wait, there's other people involved? It's not just this group of 20 people that I see every day. And that for me was like confirmation. It was like, oh, this is bigger than just this group of people. And when you get, I would say like every event that comes up, you want to be at every event. You want to go. And one of the cool things that Partner Co is doing is like event to event to event. Because here's the thing. Like you're going to leave here today all titillated and all excited. Like, I'm going to go crush it. And then you go home and reality sets in. Like if you got a kid, your kid poops his pants and you're like, oh, I forgot about the event. Or you get in an argument with your spouse or something happens. And it's like, I was going to do all of this. Let me give you one suggestion before I get into my content. Here's something that happens all the time. People come to events, they come to seminars, they buy training programs, and they don't do anything with it. Back in the 1800s, there was a dude, Sir Francis Bacon, who coined the phrase, knowledge is power. And he's dead, so he can't argue with me, but I would disagree with him. I'd be like, no, dude, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is powerless unless it's put to use. So whatever chunk, whatever nugget, whatever thing that you hear today from the different speakers or what you've heard this morning, circle it, highlight it, put a line through it, and take action on it. Because it's the action that makes the biggest difference. And I'm asked all the time, Todd, how have you succeeded? How have you managed? Honestly, how have you managed to, sometimes they use the word survive, which is kind of funny. How have you managed to survive for 35 plus years in a volatile profession? And about 5 years ago, I was on a radio show and a guy asked me this question. He asked it, the way he asked it was interesting. He said, what's the one reason why you haven't had a financial implosion in 3 decades? And I said, I can't answer your question because of the way you asked it. But I know the answer and it's very clear. It's 2 things. And I want you to write these down. Number 1, never does a day pass without me doing some type of revenue producing activity. And let me just tell you something. So many people let multiple days pass without, look, what's revenue producing activity in this business? Sharing the product, sharing the opportunity. That's it. That's how we make our money here. If you're not doing that, then you're sitting on the sidelines. Now, can I ask you guys a quick question? Do I have your permission to be blunt with you today? Okay, cool. So, because I'm pretty direct when it comes to training. Like I take this seriously. Like I have 60 minutes with you and I want to give you as much wisdom and as much how-to as possible, but you've got to do something with it. And so that's one. So I'm on this show and I'm like, look, man, I don't care how busy I am, how many videos I have to produce. Even today as a speaker, I'm prospecting all the time. I'm talking to C-level executives. I'm talking to top leaders in network marketing. I'm on the phone all day long if I'm not doing video production. And if I have a full day of video production, I never finish my day without making a handful of calls. And how many people in network marketing let a day or a week or a month pass and then they're wondering, well, why aren't I making any money? How come my check isn't increasing? And the second reason, and this to me is the big reason, is because I'm a relationship builder. You know, it's like I look at relationships like plants. In order for, and by the way, I don't know why I use that analogy because I'm terrible with plants. But plants, in order for them to survive, they needed to be watered, fertilized, and tended to in order to bear fruit. So do relationships. So, for example, if the only time that you reach out to somebody is when you want something, you're most assuredly not going to get it. It's like, because I've been in network marketing for so long, people call me up and it's like funny. You know, your phone has two buttons on it, a green one and a red one. You know, I see this guy, he got me the first couple times. He calls me up. He's never called me ever in between. It's just like, hey, I got this new deal I want to tell you about. So he got me twice. And then the third time, which was about, a year later, I looked at it. He got the red button. I didn't answer the call because I know the only reason he's calling me is to pitch me. He doesn't have any relationship build in the in-between time to say, hey, Falcone, what's up? How's life? How you doing? You want to stay regularly connected to your network. That is a secret. And it's not hard. It takes a little bit of effort, but it's not hard to do. This is a people business, and people buy from what? Those that they like and trust. So I want to talk about, and I'm going to get it through as much of this as I can today, this whole concept of cracking the code to success. Like, how do you figure this out? Here's the deal. Most people make it harder on themselves than they need to. The number one stopper, what do you think it is? People are lazy? Mindset. Doubt. What if they're not my friends anymore? What if I bring this business to them and then they unfriend me? Honestly, wow, I could be an actor. That was pretty good. If you reach out to a friend and share your products with them or the opportunity and they're like, I don't want to be your friend anymore, are they really your friend? Here's the deal with friends. They don't have to buy product from you. They don't have to join your business, but they should be giving you a high five at the finish line. And here's the deal, like human beings want to be wanted, needed, valued, and appreciated. That's human nature. It's human nature. The biggest thing that's going to help you win in this business is you working on your mindset, you working on your confidence. Like, here's the deal. And, you know, like in that introductory video, and somebody says to you, is this network marketing? My answer is, heck yeah, it is. If it wasn't, I wouldn't touch it. You know how many people respond with, somebody asks you the question, is this network marketing? Well, we got products and executives and brand partners. And, why not just say I'm a professional network marketer? Ask yourself a couple questions. Do people make money in the profession of network marketing? Are you sure? Okay. Let's look at statistically, it's $183 billion a year global profession. There's over 100 million people like you and I involved as brand partners around the world in different companies. It's been around as an established profession with the types of comp plans that we have for over 80 years. You can't be $183 billion a year with 100 million people involved for over 80 years. A scam. You understand that? Somebody would have shut us down by now. So when you get up in the morning, you should be proud to be involved in network marketing. You should be excited to be able to go out and you get to go change somebody's life today through this opportunity, through the products that you have. But this mindset game is a process. Now, you should easily be able to check off that one. So we got the profession. What about the company? How many of you guys like Partner Co? Okay, I knew that answer. How many of you people in the room think that there are people making money in this company? Is anyone in the company making the kind of money that you might like to have in your life? Okay, so we can check that one off. The only variable is you. You're the only variable. So, and that's cool. So we have to constantly be working on ourselves, our personal development. Now, I always talk about this. This is a confidence game. Like if we use the term confidence, confidence and belief are very similar. It's not exact in definition, but they're very similar. So this is also a skill business. Now you could go out there and not have any skills and be, what's the term, ignorance on fire, and you can make money. That's way better than having knowledge and it's on ice. Some of you have heard that term, right? So here's the thing. If you have low skill, you're going to have low confidence. If you increase your skill, you're going to increase your confidence. Increase your skill, increase your confidence. Because here's the thing. Why do people put stuff off? Why do people procrastinate? Not because they're lazy. A minute, tiny fraction of percentage of people are lazy. It ain't you, I can tell you that. I mean, the fact that you're here shows it already. The reason people procrastinate is because of low self-confidence relative to the task at hand. If you don't feel good about prospecting or skilled about prospecting, you're going to be like, I'm not very good at it, so you're going to continue to avoid it. You're going to come up to your desk and you're like, I'm going to call these people today, and then you're like, oh, I should go do the dishes. And then you get back up to your desk and you're like, oh, I got to go do the laundry. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Okay. The other half that didn't raise their hand, you guys are lying. I mean, I've done it. I've done it. But here's the thing. You have to decide for yourself that you're going to work on it. I created this acronym years ago. This is like my little formula for success. MASS, mindset plus action plus skill set equals success. You have a really powerful, confident mindset. You put it into action. You put it into action skillfully. You're going to create success. Let's talk about mastering your mindset. It begins with the decision to do it. Now, I got to share with you. Most of you guys I don't know, but back in May, I weighed 210 pounds. Right now, I'm like 172. So what is that? Like 38 pounds? Nobody would ever look at me and go, dude, you're fat. But I knew I was fat. I did a good job of hiding it. I was in yoga in Warrior 2 pose, and I saw myself sideways, and I had enough. In my phone, you know how many before pictures I got? I got so many damn before pictures, it's ridiculous. Like for 14 years. Like sideways, looking at my big gut. And I finally made a decision. Because like, here's the thing, there's a phrase that's often used. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's totally not true. Because you see billionaires that weigh 400 pounds. You see incredibly fit people that have no relationship capacity. So, but I do believe in this, how you get good at one thing is how you get good at everything. I want you to think to yourself, here's the thing, statistically, if we look at raw statistics, half of you won't be here next year. You told me I could be real with you, right? Statistically, and we can change that though. We can change that. People come into the business and they're like, I'm going to do this. And then a month later, they quit. 6 months later, they quit. And I want you to ask yourself to plant your flag in the ground here, make a decision, step across that line. There's no retreat. There's no backing up. I don't remember who the dude was in the 1600s or the 1400s or whatever, burned the ships. It was some famous general. One of you historians probably knows who it is. And talking about burning the ships, that means they came to shore, they burned the ships. That was like do or die. And what's interesting is if you, like right before that weird thing happened back in 2020, you guys remember that thing? Remember what I'm talking about? I won't use the word, but yeah. Okay, you guys all remember that. So I was with a group of people speaking at an event like this, and I asked that group, I said, how many of you want to make enough money in this business where your life could be overflowing? Like this company, we'll do that right now, okay? How many of you want to be in the position with Partner Co where you didn't have to have a job, second job, borrow money, it provided you everything financially and then some? How many of you fit into that? Okay, that looks like most of you, okay? So you want your life to depend on it, okay? How many of you can honestly say right now you're acting in the business every single day as if your life depends on it? Wow, isn't that interesting? That's exactly what happened in the room. So in order for your life to depend on it, you need to act as if your life depends on it. So I made this thing up, and this was March 8th of 2020. I was like, well, what happens? Like you leave this event, clearly most of this audience that I was speaking for, they didn't You know, all the people that were in the room they had jobs. That's where their primary source of income was. And you go home and you go into work on Monday, and then you show up and all of your stuff is in a box. You know, your stuff, all your picture, your kids, all your things. And you're like, why is my stuff in a box? And they're like, well, we don't need you anymore. You're fired. And then you go home to your spouse with your box of stuff, and she's like, honey, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, got fired. And now you're out there trying to find a job, but there's no jobs to be had. Yet you've got this, in your case, Partner Co., in the palm of your hands. And what if this was the only way you could put food on the table, feed your kids, pay your bills, have a roof over your head, pay for your kids' education? Like, there was no other choice. What would you do? You would do whatever the heck you had to do, wouldn't you? My question is, why aren't you all ready? Why aren't you all ready? Because a lot of people come into this business and they think that they've made a decision. And all these slides, you're going to see this little red question. Have I decided that I'm going to do this until I succeed, or do I have an exit option? And I want you to, after we're done today, I want you to write those notes down, and I want you to go home and really ponder on it. Like, have I really decided? Because, look, here's the thing. There's not a person in the room that can't do this. It might happen fast for you. It might happen slow for you. We don't know. I mean, it sure, what's news, and you have it. Some of you guys are old enough to, like, remember those LPs. You could, like, put them on backwards. Yeah, that was me in reverse. So you can still do this business and be a professional speaker and like blah, 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 and the words don't come out. So I want you to think about the decision that you've made. Have you really decided? Okay. And I've talked about this already. Your success is highly dependent upon your beliefs. We've already knocked those things out: the profession of network marketing, the company, the opportunity that it represents, the products that you bring into the marketplace. How do you feel about the business model of network marketing? I would say when you go home tonight, write a paragraph about it. How do you really feel about it? Not like, oh, I feel it's amazing and it's great. I mean, be honest with yourself. You know, sometimes I'm worried about how my friends are going to think of me, or if I get rejected. I don't believe that rejection exists in network marketing. Maybe in dating. Hey, do you want to go out with me? And you're like, no, you're ugly, your teeth are crooked, your breath stinks, your shoes are terrible, you got dirt underneath your fingernails, and you have no personality. That to me would be rejection. I don't know anything about dating. I've been with my lady for 32 years. We've been married for 28. That's pretty awesome. So you guys, having this passionate conviction about network marketing is vital. And let me give you the bad news. The negative people never disappear. They never disappear. I mean, you could be making 100 grand a month and you're doing what? You're doing one of those MLN things? I'm like, look, dude, if you're going to get it right, it's MLM, not MLN. OPQ. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, the people that are putting you down don't even understand this business model. And if you actually had a conversation with them and go, hey, so it sounds to me like you've got an opinion about it. Can you tell me about your experience? Well, I had a friend that tried one for a couple weeks and it didn't work for them. Okay, have you done one? No? Okay. So we're dealing with a bunch of ignorant people out there. Seriously. And sometimes I'll educate you and other times I won't. But to listen to the opinions of other people, like, one of the best things you can do here is surround yourself with great people. I mean, look what a great audience. If you spend your time hanging out with people like this, you're going to end up being fired up all the time. And that's also a choice that we got to make with our mindset, immersing yourself in success. I had negative roommates. Oh my goodness. I can clearly remember I was living in Long Beach, California, and I started my network marketing career. And I was showing up to work every day. Now, granted, I'm not making any money yet, but I'm showing up and I'm like around a bunch of fun, excited, enthusiastic people. I'm working on my career path of being an entrepreneur. I'd come home and I had these two college roommates that would be sitting on these, I don't even, they were sitting on a piano bench. We didn't even have a piano, which was weird. And there was music inside the piano bench. And they would be sitting there on a TV screen. Now, granted, remember, this is like beginning of 1990. The TV screen was this big, and the TV was like that deep. Remember those? Now we got all flat screens. And they'd be sitting there playing a video game called Zelda. I never played it. They did every day. And they'd be sitting down there playing the video game. I walk in, they'd be like, "Are you rich yet?" I come in the next day. "Are you a millionaire yet?" I come in the next day. "How's your pyramid?" I'm not very big, but have you ever seen a little person get pissed? Like I'm Italian, and like Italians can. You think we have a temper because we're yelling at each other in the kitchen? That's love in an Italian kitchen. I got so mad. I got so fed up one day. I blew a gasket, man. I started literally throwing their clothes out the window, throwing their stuff out, throwing it down the stairs. "You're out, get out," because it was my lease that I had signed. I'm like, "Get out." And we were surfers, so I didn't touch the surfboards. That's like a thing that you don't touch a man's surfboard and like break it. I felt like throwing him out the window. What's crazy is I didn't talk to one of those guys almost ever again. And the other one, it was probably 4 years before I had a conversation. These were my bros, but they weren't serving me. And so I had to separate myself from that negativity. That was painful. That was painful. Now, look, here's the deal. If that negativity is your spouse, I'm not saying separate yourself from that negativity, okay? Don't be going home and saying, "Honey, get out." I went to this seminar today, and this guy Todd Falcone told me you need to go. But I also don't remember like taking the vows in sickness and in health until death do us part, unless you do a network marketing company. And if you have a negative spouse, and I work with couples all the time, you want to know how to shut up a negative spouse? Get to work. And you know what? This business is dominated by women. And yeah, absolutely. And it's often, most of the time, it's the dude who's at home on the couch with the remote saying, "Honey, how's your little hobby business doing?" I'm telling you, don't do this to your lady, man. "How's your little hobby business doing? You got 3 more months on the credit card before I pull the strings on it." So maybe you need to have a sit down, serious conversation with that person. Say, "Look, I love you. I'm doing this for us. Give me a chance to make this work. Your negativity of me coming home every single day isn't helping feed my soul." And that's a tough conversation to have. And I'm not, look, again, I want to be very clear. You don't go home and say, "Hey, later, dude." But my suggestion is get to work. And the crazy thing is, you know what's going to happen? You'll be at PXP and you'll be making like 50 grand a month, and you'll retire him. And he's like, "Hey, wait a minute. I got to be on the name now." And then he's got so my wife's name is Carla. So let's say Carla was the person building the business. And Carla, it should be Carla and Todd Falcone, since she did all the work. No, honey. It's got to be Todd first. Todd and Carla Falcone as we're walking. And I'm up on stage. I'm like, "Get back behind me, honey." I've seen dudes do this all the time. It's classic. But you got to decide for yourself, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you watching? What are you listening to? Who you're listening to? I'm not listening to someone that's making less than me. You got people all around here in this company that I would be paying attention to what they're doing. Paying attention to what other people are doing, other successful people are doing. People that lift you up and encourage you, they're more fun to be around. They are. These negative people, there's enough. The world's kind of weird right now, isn't it? We want to separate ourselves from as much negativity and just immerse ourselves in success, because it's like the ball and chain thing. It's like a lead weight pulling you back and holding you down. If you break that chain, you're out of here. You're out of here. So, maybe taking a little inventory, who are you spending most of your, I know, I understand here, like this is, we're all, it's like, what I'm speaking to the right crowd, right? We're all excited, we're all pumped, we're all fired up, but then we have friends that are not in the business. And it's kind of interesting. Like I never knew, I never knew the politics of my friends until like 5-6 years ago. Now I know everybody's politics. And some of those people are so, I don't know, unrealistic is probably the right word, that I've just decided nicely to separate myself from that, because the yelling, I can't take the yelling. And it doesn't matter what side I'm on politically. It's just like people that are lifting you up and encouraging you are going to feed you and help you become, it's all going to contribute to your mindset. Okay, we talk about network marketing being a personal growth business. What book are you reading right now? I love it. I love to hear boom immediately. Oh, you read my book? You all have it. I don't expect that you already read it already. Well, it's not a hard read. It's like 110 pages. I wrote that book in 2 years and 6 days. 2 years thinking about it and 6 days doing it. That's true story. True story. So, am I increasing the value that I bring to the marketplace? You guys should be in something every single day, whether it's a personal development book, a leadership book, a sales book, a mindset book. The Bible is one of the greatest books on success, or the greatest book on success. I'm so excited. I just spoke at this faith-based business conference right before I flew here, and they gave all of the speakers this business Bible, which like took my bag over the weight limit almost. I mean, it's so heavy, but I can't wait to dig into it. It's amazing. We all got like a prototype copy of this book. But as I mentioned, like competence and confidence are directly correlated with one another. So I mentioned this to a group of leaders last night. If you read something, even if it's like, how many of you get, any of you guys get like marketing emails, like you're on email lists of people and they're like selling you something, right? I mean, I'm on probably 100 different lists. I've taken ideas from those lists and I'm like, wait a minute. I remember I got one email one time. I was like, wait a second, that's really brilliant the way he positioned that. And I didn't buy in that case what he was selling me, but I took that idea and I basically reworded it to fit into my business. I used it. I went on a cruise ship. I made 15 grand while I was on a cruise from an email because I took the idea and then I applied it into the business. And you're going to hear me say that multiple times. Application, application, application. You could take notes all day long and go home and be all well-intentioned and then do nothing with it. And it doesn't count. It only counts when you put it to work. And sometimes you'll put it to work. You're like, that didn't work out very good. And by the way, here's another little tip. Success is repeating the things that work and deleting the things that don't work. Repeat what works, delete what doesn't. Years ago, okay, I've made plenty of mistakes. I've put my foot in my mouth more times than I can count. And I don't even need a glass of wine to do it. I can put my foot in my mouth easy. I remember early on in my career, I was desperate. I was, probably 5 months into my career, not making any money. Nobody signing up with me, going home, crawling in a ball. God, what's wrong with me? Why is nobody joining me? Why is it happening for him? Why is it happening for her? Am I not good at this? Am I ever going to succeed at this? And man, I got to there's hope for every person in this room. There's hope for every person in this room. It's going to happen, again, at whatever pace it's going to happen for you. You have to exercise patience in the process. Do you have the patience to stick this through? One of my buddies, he was actually on one of those testimonials, Jordan Adler is a good friend of mine. One of his quotes is, never quit on a bad day. I mean, because we're all going to have bad days. You're going to have days where like you have negative prospects, and you're like, it's never going to happen for me. Or you have somebody that joined your business. Like, here's the funny thing on an emotional scale. You start, you're not in the business yet. You see the opportunity. You're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't wait we're going to be so successful. This is so amazing. You go home and you tell your spouse, you're like, Oh, that's a scam. Oh. Then you're down here, then your sponsor calls you and they're like, "Oh, you're good. Come on. Get onto the Zoom." And then you get on the Zoom and you're like, "You're up here again." And you're up here and you actually invite somebody and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to join the business." Now you're up here. And then the next day they quit. And then you come to this event and you're back up here. This up and down of emotions, like human beings are emotional. Here's what we want to be. You can be up and down, but we want to be like this. If you join, awesome. Welcome to the team. If you quit, I'm sorry. Good luck to you. That's okay. There are people that are going to come and there are people that are going to go. And you've got to be willing to and able to tether your emotions. I've talked about this already. Knowledge is only powerful when it's put to use. See, I already predicted my slides before they even came here. How do you know that? Okay. So am I regularly applying the knowledge and putting it into practice? I want to talk specifically about something that makes you money in this business, which is prospecting and recruiting. I can tell you right now, it's the single greatest activity that will lead to revenue. You could sit there and do anybody on Instagram in here? Any of you guys do like Instagram reels? Who does Instagram reels? All right. Who's on Facebook? Do you post on Facebook? Okay. Anybody on that tic-tac-toe? I'm teasing. So you can do all those things and those are great. But here's something I'm genuinely concerned about. I'm seriously concerned about this. There's something called atrophy. Anybody know what atrophy is? It's like when your muscles shrink. If you don't use it, you lose it. Right? So I'm 57. If I don't work out regularly, my muscles shrink. So I have to keep working out, keep flexing. I was actually, just to stay warm, I was out there doing push-ups. I was like, I got to get warm, man. I did like 100 push-ups. So if we don't use it, we lose it. And here's what I find people doing. Because they're not working on their skills, because they're not working on their confidence and their mindset, they hide behind a computer screen and they're like doing this. And they're like putting posts out and then they're waiting back and they're like, I can't wait for, and then there's nothing wrong with doing things to draw people in, to market yourself and to create curiosity. But if you don't pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey man, I just launched this business, or I launched this business 2 years ago, I haven't had a chance to get to you yet. I'd love to show you what I'm up to. If I showed you this, if I sent you this, would you do this? If you're not doing that on the daily and you're avoiding it, what you're doing is you're lacking the ability to strengthen that muscle, that communication muscle. And I don't think that you can succeed in network marketing long-term without being able to effectively communicate, being able to engage somebody in conversation. You don't have to be up here and anybody afraid of speaking on the stage? The hands they're so scared that they're like, I can't even get the hand up there. Would you turn into an alligator? You know, alligator, you ever see that commercial, the alligator arms? Like, I can't reach to pay for the bill. That's so funny, that question. They're so scared the arm doesn't go up. I'm not saying you need to do this, but eventually you're going to be asked to be up here. You should strengthen that communications muscle. And here's the thing. I learned a long time ago when I began my career in network marketing and in sales that people buy from those that they like and trust. So what are you doing to get people to like you and trust you? Like this idea, like I'm widely known in my friend network for the guy that just reaches out to say, what's up? Not, oh, by the way, I got something to tell you about. I want to close you today. I reach out, I send text messages, I do phone calls. In fact, real quick, let's do a quick exercise. Take your phone out. Quick, you guys have a phone? Who has a phone? Who has a phone on them? Get it out. Let's see it. Let me see your phones. Look at that, amazing. Everybody's got a phone. Open up your address book. This is a great, simple, quick exercise. Open up your address book to the letter A. Start scrolling through until you find the very first person where it's been a little bit. What's a bit? 3 months, 6 months, a year, 15 years? Really? That first guy in the alphabet? I had a friend of mine that did this exercise. He hadn't talked to the guy in 15 years and his phone still worked. Now you're going to send him a text right now. Hey, John. Hey, Susie. Hey, Bob. Whatever it is, whatever the person's name is. Hey, man. It's been a bit. This is Todd Falcone. It's been way too long. Love to catch up with you. You know, let's have a chat. Send. That's it. Now, if it's an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, why are they in your phone? If it's somebody you don't like, and if it's somebody you don't know, we'll solve that one too. John in a phone number. You don't have any idea who it is. So just quickly do it. Now, right now, I want you to do it while we're here. Send the text. This is you taking action right now. And here's the thing. This isn't to go recruit them, but you're going to now, within the next 24 hours, you're going to have a conversation with them. They're like, oh my God. Well, and only one of three things happens when you do this. One, your phone's going to ring right now. Please don't answer it in the middle of the seminar. Press the red button, send them a text back, say, I'll get back to you later. Two, they're going to say, OMG, holy smokes. Yes, you're right. It's been so long. Oh, so great to hear from you. Yes, we do need to catch up. Or C, who is this? Who is this? That means you're not saved in their phone. And I'm going to have to say, this is Todd Falcone. We went to high school together, or whatever you're going to have to say. And this is called a re-engagement exercise. This is the idea of making an emotional deposit. Here's the thing. You can't go to a bank and take money out of a bank that you haven't put money into. Try this on Monday. Go into a bank that you don't have an account in. Walk in, walk up to the teller and say, I would like to make a withdrawal. And she's like, hey, what's your account number? And you're like, I don't have one. And she's like, are you robbing us? No, I'm not robbing you. I just want to take some money. I just, look, honey, let me explain how it works. You create an account. We give you an account number. You put funds in the account, and you can take out the amount of funds that are in your account. That's how it works here. And we all know how that works. So please don't do that because you'll go to jail. Now, back in the 2020s, you could go in there with a mask on and glasses and a hat. You can't do that anymore. Wasn't that cool? We could walk in like we're bank robbers. We're looking like bank robbers. Don't do that. I've already told you, I've told two things. Don't do that thing with your spouse and don't go into a bank. That's a joke. Got it? Okay, good. So this idea of making these regular deposits, like I'm going through my phone. I have over 7,200 phone numbers in my phone. That's a lot. And we don't just randomly download people into our phone, do we? We add them. We add them to our phone. The other thing is I take notes on everybody. And here's another thing. This comes out of a book. How many of you read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People? I mean, terrible book, right? I mean, think about the title. It's terrible. How to Win Friends and Influence People? I'm being facetious. You know, they say don't judge a book by the cover. I always judge a book, and maybe not a person, but I'll judge a book by the cover, man. I like read that title, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a classic read. One of the things that's taught in that book is this concept of being genuinely interested, not interesting. This thing alone, if you heard nothing else from me today, will make you an incredible recruiter and customer acquirer in this business. And let me give it to you in story format, okay? So I'm always on an airplane. So I'm flying from Denver back to, at the time I was living in Seattle. I was leaving an event I was speaking at. And I see you guys, man. I see networkers. I see your partner co logos. I see the bags, the swag. I see the pins. If I see your pin from 100 feet away in the airport, I'm like, yo, partner co, what's up? That's what I do. So I see people all the time with network marketing companies. I get on the plane and there's a woman in the middle seat right behind where I'm sitting with a logo t-shirt for a network marketing company. I said, oh, company X. And she said, oh, you familiar with this? I said, I am. She goes, well, are you on our product? I said, I'm not. She goes, she scoffed at me. And she's like, oh, our product is bilated, chelated, cold processed, nutrilated. We have an ORAC value up to here. Blah, 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 blah. My breakfast just came up. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm fasting right now. But like, anybody in here ever been guilty of verbally vomiting on someone? Oh, come on. I mean, almost every networker does. I certainly did. Oh man, we're going to be so rich and this thing's going to be so good. Blah, 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 blah. Now, look, let me give you the slight difference. That's exactly what happened. I'm standing there going, I didn't say this out loud, but I was like, can I sit down yet? I sat down, threw my hoodie up, started listening. I think some Bob Marley or Snoop Dogg or something. I don't know, one of the two probably. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm not going to turn around and say, hey, lady, do you know who I am? I'm like, that's not the dude I am. I'm thinking this poor woman has no clue, has no idea. And it could have gone so different. I could have, let's go back how it could have gone. Oh, Company X, are you familiar with us? Yes, I am. Well, how are you familiar with us? Well, that's interesting you asked that. You were the very first network marketing company I started with in 1989. Oh, are you still involved in network marketing? I am. She goes, which company? All of them? What do you mean all of them? I teach network marketing for a living. In fact, I was just leaving a seminar that I was speaking at in Dallas, Texas, and she's going to tap on the lady's shoulder in the middle seat next to me. Can I switch seats with you? Who's not going to swap middle for middle? She could have got 4 hours of free coaching from me. Instead, she heard nothing. And it's not like I'm God's greatest gift on planet Earth to network marketing, but I'm pretty good at it for 35 years. She doesn't understand the concept of being genuinely interested. On another flight, this is a quick one. I'm flying from Phoenix to Denver, back to Seattle. I'm on a plane. I'm on the aisle. Got a 7-year-old next to me, dad over here. And I'm like, oh, you guys coming or going? What do you know? We're visiting grandma. Grandma lives in Gilbert. Gilbert's a little town outside of Phoenix. And my mother and father-in-law live in there. And, you know, do you guys have any friends that are like the one-uppers? Oh, I got 7 of those. Mine's shinier. I got 14 of them. Don't you hate those people? I mean, hate's a big word, but it's like, come on, man. And I could have gone, oh, I know all about Gilbert. You know where Freestone Park is? And dominate the conversation. Like the worst thing you can do is cut somebody off mid-sentence, by the way. That's a bad, that shows that you don't care. So I'm sitting there with this guy. I'm like, oh, you live in Denver? What do you do? He's like, I own a health company. I'm like, what kind of health company? He goes, we do free cardiovascular testing in hospitals. I was like, you must be pretty busy. Consider almost everybody in America dies of heart disease today. He said, we are. He goes, what do you do? Now, I'm a network marketer. I'm like, boom, dude, check this out. Eat this, snort this, sample this, lick this, pee in a cup. Let me sample your blood. Watch this DVD real quick. Let me take a DNA test. I was like, there's so many companies all wrapped up, and I don't even know. Now, how many networkers would do that, though? Many. He asked me, he goes, what do you do? I didn't answer his question. I'm like, hey, whoa, tell me more about your health company. He didn't go, wait, you didn't answer the question. He kept telling me about his health company, and now it's 45 minutes into the flight. I didn't interrupt him. I'm genuinely listening to him. I'm hearing what he's saying. I'm not like, I got 5 of those. I'm listening to what he's saying. And finally, like 45 minutes in the flight, he goes, what do you do? I said, I'm a professional network marketer. He goes, you're different. And I looked at him, I'm like, I hope that's good. He goes, no, that's great. He goes, I know network marketing. He reaches in his bag and he hands me his business card. He goes, I want to talk to you. I didn't even have to try to prospect the guy. And the funny thing is, I gave that prospect to somebody else because I wasn't even building a network marketing business. I was speaking. I do that all the time. I recruited a guy in my Uber from the Orlando hotel to the airport. It's so funny. I'm still recruiting. I'm not even building. I recruited a guy, and then I called my friend Ricky. I go, hey, I got this dude who's also from Puerto Rico. You guys should connect. And I did a little 3-way connect. I can't stop it. I love recruiting. But it's about listening, authentically listening and hearing. Like if you're like, you know, I see people do this all the time. Like I do a lot of like coaching of like, I do prospecting coaching. And I listen to your calls and I hear like you asked, I'm not saying you, but I'm imagining this person I'm working with. And he asked the prospect a question, what do you do? And the prospect starts answering and he cuts him off mid-sentence. Well, what does that tell the prospect? Oh, you don't really care what I was sharing with you. And if you could just listen and hear what they're saying, everything that you need to know is going to be revealed to you. They're going to tell you like, I'm not sleeping well. I want to lose weight. I need to have more energy. Something needs to change, and it'll naturally reveal itself to you so you can make that, then you can be a solution provider. Okay, now let's be real. Everybody, I've been doing this on stage for, I don't even know how long, almost 20 years. If you're taking notes, draw a little box on a piece of paper. This is called a reality check. Right now, do it right now. Draw a little box like 1 inch by 1 inch. Okay? In that box, I want you to write the number of new people that you've exposed, this business to or these products to in the last 24 hours? If it's a donut hole, you're not in the business. Well, Todd, I was traveling. You could send a text message in 15 seconds. Well, Todd, zero is not a good number. One, oh my gosh, you guys are making me tired. You did one whole person? You one reach out? Two, we're moving in the right direction. I got a phrase that goes along with it. Double digits a day, keep the commission checks on their way. And that got a nice little ring to it. Double digits a day. Now, am I saying you have to talk to 10 people a day, otherwise you're not going to succeed? No. But what if the only thing that you got up every morning to do is like, I'm going to go talk to 10 people? And even let's bring it down. Let's say it's two a day. What if you expose 2 people a day without exception, without fail, every single day to this business and the products that you have? You'll never have a problem rank advancing. You'll never have a problem with how much money you're making. The problem is most people don't do it. They talk themselves out of it. And I got to tell you, like asking yourself at the end of every day, what did I produce today? Or would I hire me? Like if you finish every day and you go to the bathroom, like we all have to do at some point in the day, and you look at yourself in the mirror and go, hey man, would you hire you? You got to be able to answer yes to that question most of the days. There's some days where I have couch day. Honestly, actually, I'm going to be skiing on Monday, so it won't be couch day. I'll be hiking and skiing because it's snowing at my house. Maybe Tuesday will be couch day since it's election day. So I don't know what I'm going to do that day. But like, here's the thing. Personal accountability is so important. Like you should be like really tracking yourself, tracking your numbers. I do it to this day. I literally log every single bit of business building activity. Every call, every outgoing text, every outgoing Facebook message, every outgoing Instagram DM, I log it. So I don't have a sponsor. My sponsor is me and God. Okay? That's it. I don't have a boss. You don't have a boss, and your sponsor's not your boss. They're not going to be like, hey, what'd you do today? But you know what? If you're tracking yourself and Brent came to you and you're like, hey, the business isn't working for me, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, what have you, he's going to say, I know he would do this with me. He'd be like, well, Falcone, what have you done lately? And I'm like, well, not enough. So I'm mad at the lack of the results from the work that I never did. And people do this all the time. Next time somebody comes to you in your business and they're quitting, how many of you had somebody quit your business? Be honest. Anybody quit your business? Okay, the rest of you, it'll happen eventually. And here's what you do. When somebody comes in, like, oh, it's just not working for me. I'm going to quit. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me ask you a question. You've been here for 9 months. How many people have you exposed this business to in the last 90 days? Give or take. And they're going to go, well, I mean, like, you don't have to tell me the exact number, but like, approximately. Well, not enough. That is literally the answer you're going to get 99% of the time. So they're just not doing the work. This little exercise right here. In fact, I think I gave this out to a bunch of you guys. How many of you guys didn't I do that when I did the live? So that little exercise, that 30-day challenge, is like, bang, opens up your eyes in a couple days. If you start tracking yourself, it's one of the most important things that you can do. This one, model the success of others. Do what, like this is, I know it's not proper English. Am I following and doing what the doers are doing, or am I doing what the don'ters are doing? So in other words, do what the doers are doing. I know we got some English majors in here. Just don't correct me, please. I know it's wrong. Do what the doers are doing. Don't do what the don'ters are doing. In every company, and I know you guys are fired up and enthusiastic and such a great audience, but guess what? There are people here that are crushing it. And there are also people that are here that are making excuses. Surround yourself with the people that are making things happen. Make it your mission to be around the producers. Like Brent and I have got a chance to know each other over the last several months. If I was in your company, I would be watching him. I would be paying attention. I would be paying attention to the fellow Todd in the room. How cool is that? You got 2 Todds in here at least, right? 2 Todds that are on stage even. I'm paying attention to what the doers are doing. And if you just, and I'm telling you, because even though we don't have, what do they call it in offices? Water cooler talk, is that what it's called? Where you get around the water cooler and you gossip about people in the company. We don't have that, but sometimes people get together and like, oh, I don't like the color of the logo. My box came dented. I don't like what that guy said on the call. Like, man, get yourself away from those people. They're bad for you. I mean, some of the people like you like just want to like rub shoulders with them and see if you can get some of that stuff, right? Maybe not literally, but figuratively. Okay, this is going to be my last slide. This is something that bugs me to death. Okay, and I mean, people in network marketing say, I want to get good. I want to be excellent. My question to you is, what are you doing to get good? How many of you, when you were a kid, grew up playing some sport, some activity? Raise your hands. Oh, that's most of the room. Soccer, baseball, tennis, gymnastics, swimming, whatever it was. And I know none of you had practice before the game, right? You guys, whatever sport you did, you didn't have practice, right? You didn't have practice? Of course you had practice. Practice is what prepares you for the game. We would practice. I grew up playing soccer. We would practice 2 or 3 days a week for the game that we had on Saturday. Anybody that have little kids, like little 6-year-olds playing soccer? It's like a beehive. If you know what I'm talking about. All the kids are like all around the soccer ball, like 20 kids. And then over time, through practice, they understand separation and like moving the ball around through practice. How much time are you spending practicing your craft? And again, like I said this earlier, how you do one thing is not how you do everything, but how you get good at one thing is how you get good at everything. So the last thing I want to say is this. I want you to look at something in your life that you're truly exceptional at and ask yourself, how did I become exceptional at this? You studied the greatest people doing that. You watched videos. You practiced it. You learned through experience. You took lessons on it. And unfortunately, there are not enough people in network marketing that spend time working on and developing their craft. The greatest people in the world become, and write this word down, obsessed with getting as good as you possibly can get. If you guys can just do that, your confidence is going to increase. Your competence is going to increase, and you'll do great things here with Partner Co. I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Hands together for Todd Falcone.
Okay, you can stay standing. I got a few announcements to make. We're going to break for lunch right out to the side at the Partner Co banner. Todd, first of all, Dan, John, Katie, thank you for the gift of the book of Todd Falcone. Right outside, thank you so much. Right outside, he's going to be signing the books at the Partner Co banner. As well, John Wadsworth is going to be speaking in the second half of the day. Our owner here on stage, if you have a question for John, he's going to do some Q&A. If you have a question out by the registration table, drop off your question to the registration table before the next session, and we might just pull your question at the front of the stage, okay? Enjoy lunch. God bless. Time.